It was counting for me.
Is that new?
I think so. Maybe. I'm not sure.
Okay. Ding. What are you navigating, Raven?
Hi, Morgan. What am I navigating this week? I am navigating the results of the Target boycott, fast, whatever. The Christian people was
Fast.
calling it fast. No, they were. That because Jamal Bryant and his church, they were calling it a fast. The secular folk were calling it a boycott. Whatever you call it, it's working, and I'm proud of us. And I just want to say shout out. If I wasn't holding my raggedy mic, I would clap. I am so excited for, thank you, partner. I am so proud of us. And the reason I'm navigating it though is because, or the reason I'm putting it in the navigation section is because I've been seeing mostly good comments and mostly good responses, and obviously it's working. I think we've tanked their stock. Like, it was, from what I heard, it started at around 140 and now it's at like 93. I haven't checked it this morning because the
Since
market is giving me anxiety. Yep, since the start. Yep. It has tanked significantly. And I've been seeing all these articles trying to attribute it to other things, but then throwing that at the end. It's okay. Y'all don't have to give us the credit because at the end of the day, internally, we are doing the thing. And anyway, but my point of bringing it up now was because, like I said, mostly I've seen overwhelming positivity and excitement and a reinvigoration of like Black unity and collectivism when it comes to completing a task and a goal that will help forward us or progress us. But marginally, and enough for me to bring it up now, I've seen a bunch of like naysayers and comments around, well, why don't we do Amazon and Walmart and everybody else? And what's the purpose of this? And if you're a student of history, you recognize that there's always voices of dissent. There's always leaders who haven't tapped into their leadership skills. So they just judge other leaders because they're really low key sad and insecure at the fact that they haven't stepped up in their rightful place in leadership. But anyway, that's therapist me coming out. Nevertheless, the marginal people, I want to speak to them specifically and the dissenters and say, hun, I'm sure we can make nuanced, critical arguments around why this boycott isn't perfect. Because, oh man, why aren't things just perfect in this imperfect world? I don't understand it. Yes, we can. But also, I beg, please, I beg, see the beauty in this. Even with all the flawed nature of it, even I saw Candace put something about the fact that Jamal Bryant isn't like perfect. He got a tattered past for sure. All of the things. I got it. And we can make all the academic arguments all day long. But this is beautiful, and historically the ancestors are shining on us. With regard to meaning, I just mean the ancestors' work and the efforts that they put into doing things similar to this. There's a hearkening to that, and just see the beauty in that. And even if you don't personally agree with all the tactics, just make your boycott about your personal convictions. And so nobody's stopping you from shopping at Amazon or not shopping at all the other places that you find problematic. You can stop those too. But as of right now, to do something collectively and to be able to see some incremental change, you have to take things one bite at a time. So I'm navigating that because I'm trying to find ways to encourage people without being frustrated at we're so nihilistic and questioning as a generation that we just forget the beauty in sometimes things can just be beautiful, and imperfect. And I think we don't know how to see beauty in imperfections. So that was a lot, but that's what I'm navigating. And I'm proud of us, truly, Black people and allies who've also stopped.
I'm proud of us too. And I was thinking about the fact that I have not missed Target. I actually do miss it right now because we are about to move in a month. And I would love to be at Target getting the cute stuff. But it's okay. We'll find some cute stuff elsewhere, maybe some Black owned establishments. And also, like, I think it's like, why are we doing Target? It's because Target was one of the loudest DI stores. And for them to be the first to be like, no, if they didn't have to be, they didn't have to actually take away their anything DEI. Like, I believe Apple has been vocal about standing on DEI. You could have just continued with your efforts. And it kind of shows you, right? You could have just been quiet. It shows like, it shows where you really, where your heart is and are your ethics as a company. So, yeah, so we're going to boycott Target. We know Amazon is also a capitalistic terror. Like, so it's like one step at a time, one step at a time. We are doing something as a collective, and that is what we should be proud of. So that is what I hear.
And final thought, it's invoking. Keep in mind that it's invoking. When you do stuff as a collective, then it reinvigorates, like I said,
Right.
that feeling of, Wait, things are possible. I tell my clients this all the time. Confidence comes from confronting conflict, which basically means you're not going to get more confident unless you go out and be willing to fail and try and also finally succeed. When you have that success at the tail end of all of the schemes of or trends of failure, then it gives you a boost of like, next time you face a difficulty, your brain is like, oh, wait, we can do it. Because remember that time? But if we have no archived times of us being able to accomplish something collectively, then that's where this nihilism comes from. Nothing works. Everybody's bad to work. Right. Well, what was the reason for us to be like, come on. So, yeah.
I like that.
Good job.
We need some "we shall overcome" moments.
Come
So
on.
that's
Come
what we need.
on.
Yeah.
How about you, though? What are you navigating?
I am navigating this a beautiful production of Sinners that was released this resurrection.
We need a clap audible. We need a clap like a clap
Hello.
sound or something. Yeah, yeah, because this is
It was amazing. It was thoughtful.
yes.
Okay, also it was very I felt like it was very much speaking to me. So randomly last week, I decided to open up the ancestry again and try to like find my 14-day trial.
14-day trial.
Listen,
Period.
at this big age, I might end up getting the whole thing because I'm really like, where do I come from? So I'm sitting in the movies, I'm navigating that over there. I'm looking through my ancestry, I'm trying to figure out specifically where actually both of my daddy's grandfathers, we're trying to figure out who their fathers are, basically, something like that. So who I am. And I'm sitting in the movie theater, and the movie is set on the October 16th, 1932. I was like, Desmond, that's my birthday. Fast forward to when they're in. Oh, if you haven't seen the movie, oops. Fast forward
Spoiler
to
alert. Spoiler alert's coming. Yeah.
when they were in Chicago, October 16th, 1992. I said, Desmond, that's literally my birthday. Wait a second. Then
That is scary. Yeah.
it's very scary. So, according to Ancestry, one of my potential grandfather's name is Samuel Moore, and I'm sitting there like, this is kind of creepy.
That's a little freaky for sure. For sure.
So, on a personal note, I'm navigating that.
In my long lost.
Like, I really got to figure out where my people are.
And that was the day I started my quest.
I was like, okay, I'm gonna get the DNA part. Like, I know I've heard bad things, but like at this point, I need some more leaves to pop up on Ancestry so we can figure out what people are. Terrified to do the DNA, but all the people that have been in jail, that are going to be in jail, and my family have been in jail. So that ain't got nothing to do with me. But I know I've heard people say they've count serial killers and all this stuff. I hope nobody in my family is a serial killer. But anyway, through the DNA portion of Ancestry, and they want you to do the African DNA. I will probably also do the African DNA too. I'm on a tangent, but that costs like $1,000, I think.
Does it?
I think so. But I would like to, maybe not that much, but it's hundreds. But I would like
Wow.
to know where my tribes, like where I came from.
Yeah.
Obviously, very white up in here.
It's a put to shame that I don't like to talk
Oh,
about.
really? I seen this video of this dude that was like, people ask me about my hair being wavy. I'd be like, why would I be proud of this? This is evidence of rape. I was like,
Wait,
that's
no, no, no.
exactly how I feel.
Somebody, your hair is so beautiful. Don't remind me. Wait, what? Oh yeah, I know.
Speaking of that, hold on. Now I'm thinking about Mary in the movie, and she's like trying to just be black.
Because Morgan, you brought it up. I'm trying to give you your time. Because yeah,
Maybe she just was ashamed of her whiteness. Because I feel her. No, I feel her.
yeah, yeah. Well, I was just gonna say really quick. Oh, we jumping, but yeah, that is worthy of saying right now, so we don't forget it. Cause I ain't gonna hold you. Oh, I don't know if I want to say this publicly, but we have the edit tool, so we'll see. Because I'm gonna just say it for the sake of conversation. I have a real visceral problem.
No.
I have a when I saw, I said, no, wait, okay, seriously. You know how he was being mean to her in the beginning, right? And like just evil. Here go me. Right, move, dang, leave him alone. Okay,
Being a Betsy Bug. Like, what?
like, where's your female allyship? Out the door, out the window, and stop right after that paper bag.
Don't make care about the 2% of black she got.
I was like,
One dropper aware.
he said it. He don't want you.
No.
Like, why would you promote a black man toxicity? Why would you do that? Okay, go ahead. Good. I'm sorry.
Oh my God. No, that's real because that's a part of what I'm navigating is that I sent you a message about the dude who on TikTok was like, he's literally waking up to the fact that he's a misogynist. misogynoiristic. He's like navigating.
That's
I'm gonna get
hilarious.
serious. I'm gonna get like, navigating his literal like yeah, his misogynoir. And he's like, I didn't recognize that Annie was the love interest. Every black woman, even Desmond was like, how you not recognize that? Every person I know was like, as soon as she opened the door, this nigga immediately like that man was gone for 7 years. He come back, and then my boss, we was just talking about it. She was like, the fact that she was not even paying attention to him when he first walked in was telling that he needed to gather himself. There was so much tension happening before that woman even touched that man's body. And the way I thought Desmond was describing it and what I interpreted it as, because he also saw the tension of like black love in America and how frustrated you are with the fact that love ain't enough. You got two people who are hated in this world and are in this country. Who are two, but you got two people who are hated and they are trying to navigate loving each other, but also trying to survive. And the fact that this woman had to let her man go while also dealing with the grief of their baby who had passed away. She's holding his grief of that baby being passed away. She's trying to help him navigate his grief and prayers and protection, all the things in this one scene. And I'm like, how y'all didn't see this? But that is because of the mammification of black women and that she's only seen as a mammy. So that's what I'm navigating. And the movie, again, was beautiful. So many themes within that movie and so much history that I didn't know about. Indigenous people in Mississippi, all that history is just like really beautiful. And we could talk about the religious component on another day. But yeah, all the things. That's what I'm navigating.
Yeah, I'm that religious component, man, you're right. There's so many places that we can take it. We will have to dedicate a whole episode to this, but the religious component, and actually mostly because I haven't squared away what I feel like are articulate enough takeaways or profound enough takeaways.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still trying to create coherence in my own brain around what were the religious takeaways, because this is the thing. I was just on the phone with my friend about this earlier. What was so phenomenal about the movie to me was how he was able to take repackage this age-old story, white people biting off of us, literally and figuratively here, and also the colorism conversation around, colorism, but also because it wasn't directly pointed toward colorism, but also kind of was. He was able to pull on our heart, because we know the nuances between a dark-skinned girl versus a light-skinned girl being chosen and what that looks like and all of that. The fact that he had the good twin
I
be
know.
with the black woman, the dark skinned woman, and then the bad one, again, I'm using air quotes here if you're on the audio version, the bad one be with the light skin or the 75% white girl. So, but and even that, wait, really quick, even that, the nuances on, oh yeah, we're gonna do a whole episode. So what I was gonna say was, even that, navigating the world as a biracial person, and not to pedestalize their problems because the world does that enough, but also in part, she is a black girl, and what that looks like, how hard that is, because I did feel viscerally immediately. And it's like, dang, but I can only imagine it's a baby girl who entered into the world with complexity just in her whole identity. And so it's its own struggle, but it's a struggle that's tethered to blackness because black people were forced into a struggle. So it's a delineation of black struggle. But anyway, okay, the bigger theme, since we're not going to do the nuances today, the bigger thing that's, oh, go ahead.
So I wanted to say this really fast that my boss, she told me about the trope of the tragic mulatto. I didn't know about that, and I need to do a little bit more research on it. But that was also at play. And then two, well, maybe three things. Two, I actually thought when she stepped on screen that she was going to be just a light skinned black girl, because I ain't gonna lie, I literally thought she was just passing. I thought she looked like us, and she did look like us. So, like she literally, I always can tell like our people.
Yeah.
I see somebody light skin, super
For sure.
light skin at the store yesterday, and I was like, oh, that's a black man, but I could see my folks, and I thought that's where it was going. So yeah, and then when I made a video on TikTok. Follow me on TikTok, Pretty Girl Lifter, and you can see my whole rant about this.
I gotta watch it too. Yeah.
This mixed girl, they actually blocked the comments, so I had to go and look at it. Was like, why can't we ever, like, why are you being so mean about the mixed girl, and why can't we ever this and this and that? We're not liked over here, we're not liked over there. And I was like, babe girl, this is not what that conversation was about. Like, and don't get me wrong, I hear that conversation and genuinely empathize with it because I totally understand where it's coming from, but I wasn't even being disrespectful towards the mixed girl, not even saying more than what I just said on this podcast. I was literally just talking about how we are only able to see the differences and how black women are treated when there's one man, Michael B. Jordan, that looks exactly the same playing the same person, well, playing twins next to two different people that look completely opposite of each other. So she was just there
That's
as
good.
opposition. The point of the video was Annie, and that Annie was beautiful. That was all.
She was there to further magnify this point about Annie and this
Right.
complexity of Black dating and Black love. Come on, don't we love the girls in the gender studies? And see, I didn't catch that at all. I went way more macro. It's very therapist of me. I went to the theme because what I appreciate, again, because I can go into the specifics of all the nuances, but overall, the fact that we're even capable of doing that, the fact that a mixed girl saw it and was like, yeah, because da, da, da. And meanwhile, if you have a little bit more range, you see even higher level and recognize, no, boy, it's actually about Annie, right? The fact that all these marginal Black house conversations were able to happen while now mind you, all those marginal Black conversations were being had on the side, meaning throughout the movie marginally. But overall, though, the theme, the essence of this movie was the age-old story that we've actually been told a million times, which is white people steal from Black people, or have historically and continue to steal from Black people. So how he was able to repackage this age-old story in a new, riveting way that captivated us, cinematically, beautifully, so captivate us literally just by the beauty in it, the story, but it wasn't too tired and old because we had heard it all before. And also, so do that profoundly and beautifully. That's already hard because the story, like I said, is told. So to be able to do that and captivate us was like, wow. But then on the side of that, to touch on colorism, Black love, even Black male aggression, or that part when they were in the car, that'll make me, when they had the prison, black men being, I said, that's an artist. That is creativity at its finest. And then finally, and I'm done here. And then I didn't even touch on the music stuff. Like they talked me, it was about music, but it also kind of wasn't about music. It's like, wait, what? And finally, how he was able to do all of that. My point is how he was able to do all of that and not make it feel messy or chaotic. So it still felt profound. As a matter of fact, I felt more riveted. And then at the end, give us triumph and winning against the white. He is a genius. Give that man all the awards. Okay, I'm done.
He literally captured a day of being Black in Mississippi in 1932. Like the threat of the KKK just lingering. Michael B. Jordan knew this whole time they was coming back for them.
Yep.
They coming back. They was gonna die anyway. I said that on the way home. I was like, they was gonna die anyway, regardless. If they was all there that morning, they was all gonna die. And then I thought you were gonna say the car scene about them when he was telling the story of the man getting
that is what I'm talking about. And and wait, really quick, how we use music to base our music is so soulful because that's all we had to process the trauma.
Man. Yes. Like I'm like, that is literally captivating. That was his soul crying. Then the audio in that scene where he had like the crowd playing in the background of like the memory of Delta Slim, I was just like, this man, like,
that's a depiction of how trauma works. And I can imagine when you go through stuff that level, all you do is just trying to quiet the noise, quiet the memory. So that's what you do. You drink till your liver explodes. A lot of Black men, and even that I know personally, are functional alcoholics. I will never say it to them because I try and respect them and love them. But most men, I'd be like, baby, you drink too. Quieting the noise so much. So again, I didn't even think, right? I forgot about the fact that he did that. He hit on my cousin when we were walking out. She said, I hope this isn't messed up for YouTube or whatever. She said, the only thing I feel right now is this was for the niggas. For the niggas. For my niggas. Like, whoo. Anyway, yeah. Woo. I'm going to see it again because I want to be able to give a full. You said you're going tonight?
Yes.
Period. I wish I could. I got clients. Oh, I wish I could.
I'm taking notes tonight because there's so many, of course, all the TikToks in my head. Like, listen to this one though too. Clearly, we haven't had an actual conversation, so the podcast is it this week.
This is our time.
This girl on TikTok named Aricia Grace. She was also talking about like the different themes because I guess Ryan Coogler talks about freedom a lot in his movies, and she was basically saying like each character was a representation of a different form of freedom for Black people. We had hoodoo, we had Christianity, we had Black capitalism, we had Black capitalism with the quote unquote good twin. I don't know what the bad twin was. Then we had Delta Slim trying to drink his way out of pain. We had
bad twins, Malcolm X energy, not maybe like meaning like The
Yeah,
rebel black.
radical.
The
Yep.
radical black. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
And her basis ended on the same thing I said, was at the end of the day, we was all gonna die. It don't matter how the
Oh,
freedom,
that makes me
like,
emotional. Shoot.
girl. And it's like the only thing, because I was like, okay, so what was the answer, Desmond? And he was like, I was like, maybe it is just community. Like, maybe it is all the things wrapped up in one. Maybe they're like to get free. And the fact that the twins literally were just going to Chicago like every other black person, trying to escape to the north to get free. Them baby said, I'm coming back to the devil I know, literally. I know white people down here. I don't know them white people there. Because if you've been in the South and you've been in the North, white people are different. I'd rather you be upfront with your racism than be closed behind, like let it hide
Yeah.
behind closed doors.
Just the same as we have ancestry in the South, they do. Everybody just migrated. Everybody just
Right.
maneuvered, right? And so their lineage bleeds over into their actions just the same as ours does. Even that was another marginal one. The story of black migration to the North and how it still ended. What did he say? That's KK members in suits or something he said in the movie, like and with big building, racism in big buildings or something.
Yep.
But no, I just thought about it. What you said, whatever the girl said on TikTok or whoever the girl was, because I heard your point. Right. So maybe the whole point is just find the joy in community and in the perseverance, and also into the, I'm sorry, I get emotional. That makes me emotional. The self-sacrifice for the next ones. You know what I mean? Like, because the little boy was the only one that got to survive. And in his survival, he was able to live to tell the story. And also, we are in a lot of ways products of, like I said last episode, my granny didn't have more than an 8th grade education. She was a sharecropper her whole life, or her dad and him was. They could have been more famous, but the white people came and burned down their whiskey farm because they was jealous. And anyway, yeah. And so now I've been able to live out all these amazing, wonderful dreams and stuff. But the ones that back in the 30s, it was just the best that they could do is go to church. Maybe whatever your escape is, do what you have to do to survive and to thrive, so that these babies can now go to college and do podcasts. And that's what I didn't catch that.
Brian did his big one.
Girl,
And then also stop demonizing each other for the ways we're trying to get free. Like, and I think the biggest one for me is the hoodoo. Okay, that's in our blood. Clearly, every single one of us do something that got to, like, the education around hoodoo has come out, and it's like, you've been doing hoodoos whole time. So stop even the alcoholism. Stop demonizing that. Like, we are just trying to survive, scratching and surviving. Like,
Morgan, I literally said to my sister this morning on the phone, y'all are here first. I'm doing a video sometimes whenever finals are over and I can breathe again, about why I was wrong about Sexy Red, because I'm just about to come on my period, so all the emotions are coming. It's not y'all, it's me. It's my period. But anyway, because Toby Iningwe, however you say that man's name, love him down. I just never know how to say his last name. And I feel horrible because I'm not a real black, clearly. But anyway, Toby, my shout out Toby.
the Midman.
The man, he said in his song, he said, because I've evolved from using my southern drawl to flog and chastise niggas. Because the whole song was literally about, I want to save you, but I'm not God. As a black person, and so he goes through stories of guys he knew that were great and all, but then got caught up because he was in some drama with his girlfriend, accidentally cut her, and then now locked up in jail, or people who've actually actively murdered people. You know, niggas. I feel like if you black, especially hood adjacent, we all know, or at least related to somebody that probably has committed a murder. That sounds crazy to say, but it's true. Or to some extent have done something horribly criminal.
Real.
That's real, right? I know.
Murderers.
Like, I literally have been in family keying with, I know you murdered somebody before, real life.
Keep them in your back pocket just in case, okay?
That part. And I also know that I'll never, anyway.
I ain't cutting them off. Like, okay.
They don't want to murder me.
Okay, how high and mighty I get.
But anyway, so I'm saying that to say, he said, I've evolved from using my southern drawl to flog and chastise niggas. Basically making the case that, you think these niggas don't know they broken? So the reason I'm going to do that video for Sexy Red, because it's not that I don't believe what I've said, the arguments that I made, because I never made it out of hatred. But I've evolved from using my southern drawl to flog and chastise it. I don't need, the world has chastised us enough. I struggle finishing sentence. But you know what scripture says? Perfect love cast out fear. perfect love casts out sin. All of this self-righteousness but I'm coming from a good place. Perfect love casts out fear. Oh, people's blackness has manifested in the ways that have brought them the most joy. Even if it's not necessarily the most productive in the long term, people need joy in a world that has robbed them of it systematically, personally, genderly, everly. And I want to be a person that invokes joy and love, because love helps people to feel secure enough to be able to make better choices. Anyway, okay, I'm done.
I'm about to loop it around. I'm about to do I'm about to bring in the nuance. Okay. I'm about to do it. Okay.
Let's
So
go.
you guys, the main topic of this conversation is not sinners, I promise.
Right, we're gonna do a full one later.
It was a great jump off though. I promise it's gonna make sense. I promise. Okay, so giving space for the nuance. We want to talk through issues that impact Black women. So on the agenda today, as I was navigating sinners, I was thinking about the same scene that I talked about with Annie and whichever twin. And he the guy on TikTok who was saying like that was his auntie, or I thought it was gonna be his mama or something like that. Now, the only credit I give this man is that when I go home, or especially when I was younger, I would make sure I always saw. Okay, anyway, I would make sure I always saw my grandmothers before I did what I got to do. I would make sure I saw my aunts. As I've gotten older, I've kind of went away from that, and as my grandmother's passed away, I kind of the seeing the elders has kind of fallen away from me, but I need to get back into that. Anyway, the point is, I was like, okay, he's going to go see his elders. My point was, as soon as she opened the door, I knew that wasn't his elder, that was his woman. So I was thinking about the idea of going home when you are quote unquote the chosen. And I do put chosen in quotations very, very hard, bold, italics, all the things. When you're the chosen one and the one who's able to get out. I was thinking about what I was actually going to talk about navigating this week was I wouldn't trade going home for holidays to Louisville for anything. Like I love it. I love the arguing. I don't want to say arguing. I'll say bickering. I'm speaking specifically of my nieces. I love the getting ready together. I love the cooking. I love all the things. Girl, also can we talk about how we can allow our nieces, metaphorically or not, gain confidence while also telling them, maybe you're going to look back on that picture and you're going to be like, why did I do that? Specifically talking about these edges, okay? Because this new generation of edges, when they part the edges and pull them down and don't connect them back. Okay, anyway, so I love all the things, right? And I was just thinking.
I think back in our day they were called bangs, but I don't know if
Now they
people
jailed
have.
them things.
You're gelling. Imagine gelling down a bang. They have Chinese bangs all across, and then they gel them. I don't understand. If it hits your eyebrow, that's not a baby hair. That's a teenage hair. Like I don't. I'm trying to understand the bang. The bang. Go ahead.
Oh my goodness. So I was thinking about that, but I was also thinking about when I went off to college and I became self-righteous and I was so judgmental toward my alcoholic father, my sisters who may or may not be making the most money, and how I also might have felt shame in that, and how I also didn't want to be around them, and I was like, I want to save them, and I want to don't forget about the whole Christianity portion of this as well, when I was really fundamentalist and all this. But then when I started to realize the systems that were really set up against my family and other Black families that caused us to be in these situations. Like I am a byproduct of teenage. I'm not a product of teenage pregnancy, but members of my family are products of teenage pregnancy, which were high numbers in the 90s. The crack epidemic, high numbers in the 90s. I am the child of that. So thinking about the way the systems have literally harmed our people, we go back home judging these folks, and it's like, no, baby, you were the one who made it out. I was the one who went back to say thank you. But the fact that you as the one person, and I'm using also one as in air quotes as well, because I'm also reframing what success looks like in my mind actively as well. And if I am the quote unquote successful one, I'm actually not the only one that has the degrees and all the things in my family. But yeah, so that was what I was originally navigating. And that's what I wanted to present, and thinking about this idea of like being the chosen one. And I'm also thinking about that with Brittany Cooper's book, Eloquent Rage. I mean, this is
I
actually,
ain't read that in years. I gotta pick
yeah,
that one back up.
I think this is actually the book that made me reframe my mind because she talks about in a chapter when she goes home for like a high school reunion where she's like, her classmates were like, Brittany, you were the one who teachers favored, but they weren't going to give us that same attention. And she started to realize, like, oh, I was set up. Like, that's how the system works. The system works that one person makes it so that we believe that everybody can make it. And that's not true. And I remember in college, I was SGA president, president of my class, all these things. And I was telling another student that like, hey, just tell the administration what you want. And I remember them telling me that works for you. And I was like, ooh, I don't like that. So thinking about that in respectability politics and all the things. So that's what I present. I don't even know what the question is, but that's the nuance I'm
That's
presenting.
okay. First of all, thank you for presenting this. I'm not kidding because speaking to the audience for a second, I know you guys struggle with this. I know our Black girls because I know Black girls and I know our
Right.
plight and I know our history well. And so as a result, I know that even if you don't see yourself directly in our stories, there are marginal parts of our stories that our stories meaning specifically about the going home and feeling like the chosen one and feeling like the successful one and whatever context that looks like for you, because maybe that isn't, oh, I went to college and went back home and felt the pressures of that. Maybe it's just I'm the first in my family. I have a lot of girlies that I grew up with in church and elsewhere where they just were the first ones that didn't really live a chaotic, toxic life. Like they got a pretty standard job, got them a good little car, and have kept a good apartment, and they are healthy for their context, right?
Right.
Like they are the successful ones for their context. Man, it's funny because as I'm saying this, I got so many girls in my mind right now. So saying that to say, even if yours doesn't necessarily fit the college mode, you know what I'm talking about. If you're the one that maybe got a couple $100s in your savings account in a way that nobody has ever done that ever, everybody
Mhm.
always live, not even check to check, minute to minute, moment to moment, you got 5, got 10, that kind of a thing. Man, I'm so happy to be doing this because the more we do this podcast, I know it just re-engages me with my girls. Like, girl, you just got to this academic stuff. Girl, calm down. Like, this is humbling me in real time, and I'm vulnerable enough to let y'all see this part of me. Like, calm down, girl. Okay, so that actually leads me to my first bullet really quick to what you said. You brought up the parents first. I'm gonna address it slow, but persist. So you brought up the parent thing. If we are experiencing the struggles with rising and being the chosen one and being thrust into these spaces of relative success, first of all, what does that say about the people that got us here and that raised us to be able to accomplish things like that? And then furthermore, if it's such a struggle for us, what the hell did they have to actually go through to ensure that we would have the capacity to
Right.
be in those spaces? That's what's helped me, or in the same process, because I similarly had the same struggles with like the frustration with people's shortcomings when I would go home. And even presently, I won't lie, transparently, sometimes I'm still like, I'll go out of town with family or I'll just hang out at times and I've had to talk about it in therapy. Full transparency. One time I was out and I almost had a panic attack. That sounds so pretentious and arrogant, but I promise it wasn't from like oh, y'all are so dusty, stop. But it was just, I am such a control freak in a lot of ways because when you are the first of your family to do stuff,
Yeah.
you have to be rigid, you have to be regimented. And so when people deviate from my regiment and my standard of what's acceptable in public and all of that, girl, I was at that little whatever, it was a little Waffle House. I was literally had to
Right.
go in the bathroom and calm myself. It was problematic. And
No,
saying
that's
that to
real. And I
yeah,
totally understand.
it was, woo, it was a whole thing. I had to talk about it in therapy. But anyway, saying that to say, I could only imagine the holes that the holes, deficiencies that they had to experience and fight through in order to give us a platform to be able to rise to who we are. We have a style and kind and caliber of Black child that we invest in.
Right.
I have fallen victim to that. I love doing this transparently with y'all and growing with
Oh,
y'all.
really?
I have fallen victim to that. I have literally said out of my mouth well, not that recently, but recently enough to where I can chastise myself. I used to say all the time, I pour into girls on first base. I said, I don't do the girls in the dugout and in the parking lot.
Mm.
I leave that to the girls. I used to say that. Girl,
The ones
shut the
who
hell
did
up.
a little effort and got there.
Shut the. But I used to say that actively. I used to
Mhm.
say that actively. I'm not done with myself. The girls that's on first. Shut the hell up. What are you talking about? Did Jesus say that you got to be walking first and then we'll be able to consult? Are you okay? Are you? Because it's in your own power anyway. So saying that to say, even in this conversation around like, oh, I don't know if you saw it in the New York Times about how Black men college attendance has decreased. And so there's been a lot of conversations around, well, we give them this and we give them that. No, we give the Black kids who are in the Jack and Jill program stuff. The Black kids who got the straight A's, we pull them out of class and do stuff with them.
Right.
But because we've adopted this ideology that we don't intend to have in a lot of ways, old Blacks and young Blacks, that Blackness is already flawed, and there are like some, what's the word I'm looking for? There are some endemic problems already, so you can only deal with the good ones because the rest of them, well, we didn't mean to adopt it, but that's what the whites told us about ourselves. That's what the white people, because I can't say stuff like this. That's what they told us about ourselves, and so we developed this as if it's like endemic to who we are, rather than, no, these kids, as bad as they may seem, are just as worthy of investment. And if they do say things like what you said, that, well, I don't feel like I can, they literally believe that. So as much as you like, baby, it's right there. Address their immediate needs because they are capable. All right. I'm sorry. That was a lot.
Not a lot. Like, I'm gonna talk to back to your point about so the parents part. Like, first of all, like being grateful for parents. Like, I didn't think about like what it would be like for your parent to literally parent you beyond their capacity. Like, so thinking about parenting a child and preparing them for a life that you have no idea what is on the other side of that. Me, like us talking about breaking generational curses. I have no idea what curses I'm breaking for Frederica to go like beyond me, and I don't know what to do beyond that, right? So thinking about like my mama who went to college but didn't finish college, and then a master's and then another master's. Like, you're parenting a child that is quote unquote more successful and quote unquote more smarter than you, right? And that's that's probably scary to be as a parent. Like, I forgot I was a parent, but like, that's scary to like when you know your child surpasses you in ways, and it's like I don't know how to parent her. I don't know how to advise her. Yeah. So thinking about that, and then thinking about the ways like you talking about the child we choose to invest in, and like feeling like, and then when you come to the realization of being chosen, if you come to the realization of being chosen, and you literally want to give back in ways that you consider all the isms that Black people face, and not just hand selecting, because there are people who realize that they are the chosen one and continue to choose to only select the one family out, the next one of them in their family, or the next one of them in their former high school or whatever, and continue to perpetuate this. Because you thinking about like I'm just thinking about your panic attack, like that, and I want to like the weight of being the chosen one when we are thinking about it's respectability politics. Like, when you have succeeded because of respectability politics, and you want to continue to succeed, and you feel like maybe that's the only way you're going to succeed if you continue to remain this way. That's why I'm so grateful for the job that I have and the spaces that I'm in right now, is because it's actively reframing my mind of like how to remain and how to be culturally relevant and culturally sound culturally, and not have to what's the word? Assimilate to white culture, and you can still be successful. Like, when you understand these isms, you no longer in theory, and I actually like, that's why I'm like, how do I tell my nieces with the edges? I told them I was gonna talk about this on the podcast too.
At least they know. At least they know.
How do I tell them, like, baby girl, that's not, you're gonna be mad, right? But also part of that is I know that the edges girl is not gonna get the same respect as the silk press girl. You know what I'm saying? So I know the lashes girl who is my niece, who is very smart, who has dreams and aspirations, might not get the same respect as as the silk press girl with the nice natural looking lashes, right? Still, both of them went to get their lashes done. But anyway, that's not the point. Yeah. And so what I'm saying is, when you are having that panic attack as the chosen one, is because I still want to be successful. And it's not until a reframing of our mind that maybe this assimilation is not going to get us anywhere. That's also actively trying to get rid of that, because I'm thinking about also moments where it's like, oh, I don't want to be seen with the ghetto family, right? Oh my God, baby, that's your people.
Morgan, can you please break that down? I want to make sure, and I'm gonna let you rock here because I know this is your space. please, because you just actually said something that was very helpful for me. So I want to hear from me. And also, I think that people can use an even more in-depth breakdown around that panic attack was related to respectability. My therapist didn't even say that. And I didn't even register that until right now. Explain, maybe people don't understand what respectability mean and respectability politics and how that can correlate to why you having a panic attack with your family and even this conversation about The Chosen. Like, can you maybe flesh it out a little bit more comprehensively?
Okay, so respectability politics, when I think of it, I think of the way we dress, the way we wear our hair, it is how are we trying to be as white as possible? Like, how are we trying to also virtue signal that we are the good Negro?
Right, literally signaling that I have virtue. See, yeah,
Yeah, so the act of expressing opinions or stances that align with popular moral values, often through social media intent of demonstrating one's good character. So like making sure that somebody knows like I'm the good Negro.
one of them blacks. Yeah.
Right. I'm not one of them. I'm not ghetto. I'm not that. But also, like, it is also like you're trying to virtue signal that because it could be also safety. Because, say, for example, you are getting pulled over. You want to make sure they know, like, I am a good black, quote unquote, so they don't kill me. Right. But it's like that's why I say at the end of the day, these degrees don't mean nothing. Because if I get pulled over, if I go to the hospital, it's like me and my boyfriend often talk about the hospital being the jail version of black men jail, black women, black men police, black women hospitals, doctors. So me going to the doctor with all my degrees, they still might kill me, right? I still might not come back home after I've given birth to my black child. You know what I'm saying? So this respectability of trying to say that you are the good black means nothing, because at the end of the day, if you got locks and 10 degrees, if you got locks and your hood on your head, you could also be murdered. So like you're putting forth effort that is so unnecessary. Wow, you've done all this work, you look good, you're zipped up, you got your clothes on good, you got your degrees, you go home for the holidays, you go on vacation with your family, and everybody in your family not polished. You got the alcoholic sitting right next to you who's your actual sister. You got your family who is struggling with even being on the trip, my lord, even being on the trip, right? You might be the only one with the extra money to even buy a souvenir. You know what I'm saying? And these people just spent their last just to create the memory, right? And they just trying to have fun. This might be their first vacation. You like, why are you acting? This ain't nothing. I remember us going to St. Louis, and I told people we are going to St. Louis, and people like, why y'all going to St. Louis? Because it was in a 4-hour range that half of our cars would make it to, because everybody's car might not make it somewhere farther than 4 hours, right? And we got to have a good time in a kid-friendly city. And kid-friendly meaning, I've heard St. Louis a little violent, I know, but kid-friendly meaning they have a museum. There's a few things.
It is a lot of activities.
So, but we couldn't go to a DC, right? Where we might have to get a charter bus, or we might in the future, but thinking about those type of things. So that's where I was coming from.
No, I appreciate that. That, man, again, you freed me, and also because you gave me more context too, because I needed to put the word respectability on there, and how much being that. So yeah, this will take it to another level of this conversation. I mean, that tethering to respectability is so closely connected to success for me. And I know for most black women, but I'm gonna speak for me because I feel like y'all will be able to see some of it, see yourself in here. I hope so. I have felt such pressure to be like, I'm not that one. And I don't think it was but I want to make sure that I'm clear here. I've never been that black girl that's like, oh God, I'm better than them dusties. I think implicitly I was, and in a lot of unintentional ways I was, but it wasn't intentionally there. And the reason I know that for a fact is because when you said how sometimes it's correlated to safety, that immediately resonated with me, in the sense that for me, mine correlated with, like, let's use the restaurant example for it. When I had literally a panic attack. In that moment, I was like, waiters don't treat you nice if you, girl, this is a therapy conversation. Because I'm literally actively working through this. So if I get this emotional episode, it's just not, sorry. Because, like, seriously, waiters treat you mean.
Exactly.
People see you as a black girl and make assumptions in part, and sometimes in part, it's an internalized thing. I won't just put this on people. This is our transparent episode. We have these messages about ourselves that are so in-depth that I am petrified as being seen as fill in the blank, ghetto, whatever, but not because, oh, those are the dusty, the menial people, but rather because I really want to be taken seriously. Please, world, can you take me seriously? Please listen to my perspectives. I'm really smart. I'm really right, fill in the blank. And I, for such a long time, felt like that wasn't my case, or people didn't necessarily see me immediately or respect me immediately, or whatever the case. And some of this is some daddy issue stuff too. My daddy's a rampant sexist, and so some of that came from that. Some of it come from cultural messaging around Black girls, interculturally and externally. So anyway, but nevertheless, no matter where it comes from, my point is, no matter where it comes from, that is a Black woman's lived experience. And trying to live that out when you're the chosen one, again, hear us good. This is all in air quotes if you're on audio, but when you're the one who just happens to defy the odds and make it and actually become successful, your money going backwards, I think that needs its own space. So we'll pause there. Yeah. So the freedom from respectability, that just really saved me. And it gave me, I love to feel seen. And that just helped me feel even more seen, because I thought I was crazy. And final thought, sorry, I was feeling arrogant. For such a long time, I was feeling arrogant. And if I'm being honest, even as hard as I am being on myself right now, like, girl, shut up. I'm being hard on myself, but honestly, it has never come out of arrogance. Maybe some self-righteousness crept in, because I don't think you can become successful and not have a little bit of self-righteousness, because if you pull yourself out of nothing, that's a hard thing to do. Or if you're the first, that's a hard thing to do. So some self-righteousness just automatically, I think, comes through. But for the most part, it was never like, oh, I'm the light-skinned girl who did the, that's all problematic. And I've never had that politic. But even still, it was still too steep to trying to cozy up to whiteness, even if I didn't intentionally mean to. And yeah. And meanwhile, the blacks that you are the ones who got daggers in their back so that you can beat her. Again, I know I said it already, but when you really come to peace with that, the stuff that my mama and even my daddy, to be fair, had to reject, so that their kids can have even just a little bit step above, and maybe that'll get them to it. In every generation, we've just been like inching. Oh, God. Anyway, okay.
Yeah, like I think that was a part of it as well. I kind of hate my family doting on me. Like I really do hate it, because like I literally would not be who I am without my family. Like I can point to each of my cousins, each of my sisters teaching me something that I literally use to this day.
Yep.
And like, so thinking about the daggers in their backs, like, y'all was the one that was paying my phone, and the one that was like, when I literally had no money, okay, I got a job now, right? Like, y'all were the ones who were doing the things. So for me to have that mentality, I feel so guilty and shamed around it, because I had the mentality. And it's like, I did this. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You are a product of the same system of that is pushing them down, the one that keeps pushing them down, because you are the one who made it. Like I cannot stress that enough to people who might have this mentality. The system of you making it is also the system that is pushing them down, because we need the examples of the people who made it out, so you can pull your bootstraps up. Your sister did it. Why you can't do it?
And I just want to speak from the therapist perspective for a second. What I actively see with most people, actually, we are all just deeply insecure in one way or the other. But anyway, what I actively see in Black families in this dynamic that we're talking about with the chosen versus all the, let's just say the others, quote unquote, is, I did pay your phone bill, Morgan, or I did contribute, but like, I'm not good enough to be that. I did my little marginal part so that you can. And meanwhile, right, when you actually get to the space, right, the pinnacle, whatever that is, then you're like, girl, all I am, like you said, is an amalgamation of all of y'all broken pieces, tethered together, glued together to make this. Every time I recall something, every ethic that I go back to, or whatever, like you said, is all a beautiful compilation of the contributions of these Black women who feel like they're broken, or Black people who feel like they're broken. And meanwhile, girl, you are everything. Every piece of me, good, bad, and indifferent, actually, is because of you. Like, I just, actually, for the sake of a clip or something, moms and sisters and cousins and brothers and dads who have maybe
Auntie.
not been able, and aunties, thank you, fill them all in, who've made church members. Let's see, I don't even want to be religiously exclusive. I said Quran, Jesus Christ. I'm so Christian. I'm so Christian. Mosque leaders. Lord forgive me. Mosque members who send care packages, who come on, who on the days where this Black girl or these Black children that you support were making bad choices and doing bad, stupid things, even though you might have actively been doing those things at the time, you still pushed them away from it because you wanted to see something bigger for them. I just want to say thank you, that I see you, that you are not broken in any way in the slightest, and you are more than capable of doing 10 times more than we do, the quote unquote chosen ones, because we're only here because of you in the first place. So I want you to see yourself in the highest light. In the ways that you see me, I want you to see yourself in that same light times 20, because I only have it because you contributed. And I love you, and we love you, and we appreciate you.
Ditto, all the things. Also, like, I'm thinking about you talking about, like, well, I'm gonna just, what I heard was like, I'm gonna do my part. But what I heard you say that, but like thinking about, like, I'm not gonna be that person. Like, I'm not gonna be Morgan. Morgan's obviously the successful one. So I'm gonna just make my contribution and thinking that that's not doing something. You know what I'm saying? But also thinking about, like, here's my thing. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like it feels like, well, I know I'm not gonna make it, so I'm gonna just push that person up. But you are making it. You know what I mean? Like this whole idea of like what success looks like is like relevant and subjective and all the things. Like, yeah, I don't know. I just don't. So I'm also thinking about like when people try to like who know I've quote unquote made it and are like, well, help this cousin or something, or what would you do, or blah blah blah. Honestly, I would just love them where they at. Like I would just, to be honest, make sure they're not doing nothing to get them killed. Like, if I be quite honest, because at the end of the day, like they're doing what the system is allowing them to do. Like we can try and try and try and try and try. And there are some things that some people, because of the system, might just keep hitting that same wall and they might not go no further. So what are we going to do?
It's so crazy that you said that because I think that's such a layered conversation. We got to do an
Very.
episode about college, and we will. We have to do an episode about college because what I hear in that is two things really quick. The first is that, right, we've created a world where people don't just get to, Scott Galloway says it all the time. We've created a world where people, either you're exceptional or you're nothing. And it's either the throwaways or none. And I know people will say that that's just not specifically Western because there's other countries that don't uplift or take care of their marginalized and their poor or their non-exceptionals either. Yes, so to be fair, it is a human problem. However, it's more magnified here because we are the standards of the world. Unfortunately, I'm not agreeing with that. I'm just saying that relatively that is the truth. So anyway, and plus, my only lived experience is in America, so I can speak to us. We have created a workforce and even just like a desire to either see exceptionalism or nothingness and no in between. And that has happened on an economic front, right? As we're seeing the middle class just be continuously hollowed out over generations. That has happened in all sectors, I believe. You can make a case for how the middle ground, middle of the road, average people, average worker, average lookers in every way. Social media has bolstered this sort of phenomenon too. If you are average, we want to throw you away. And we don't, because that's why it's literally the word average. But we all feel this desire and need to rise to exceptionalism because that is the framework of America. And you can talk to other people in other countries too. They'll say this. Some people, you just get a job and you go home and you go to the cafe shop and you just enjoy life. But no, here is so, we glamorize celebrity and exceptionalism. Okay, so that's what I heard in that. But then the second thing that I heard in that is somewhat of a struggle that I'm even going to navigate through. And when we do an episode about college, we can talk through it because I'm thinking about, I do want my Black cousins and my baby girls and who I mentor and all this stuff to feel good and content, not complacent, but content in where they are. And also, I actually know that white rich people send their kids to college and push and expect exceptionalism because they recognize the implications of what it is to live in a world where in order to thrive, you have to strive as much as you can for exceptionalism or at least something adjacent to it. And so trying to hold space for like, shoot, what do I want to push on my Black babies, considering the pressures of trying to perform when in actuality, we've just never gotten the chance to just be. There's a struggle. And also saying, yeah, but no, your mama you need, and daddy, and we don't have time to not have it for them. So make it happen. I don't know. This is good. I don't know. That's in real time. Let me think about it. I'll circle back, but go ahead.
Well, I too don't know. And I think I was thinking about like the Kimberly Foster video you sent me yesterday. I'm thinking about like white people sending their people to school. And this sounds so like, what do we do? What do we push on our kids? And this might sound so like cheesy. It's like, shoot for the moon, you'll land on a star, right? Like, it's not to be like complacent. Like, you should try. You should absolutely like learn and teach your children and push them to like know basic concepts of like everything and even advanced concepts, because at the end of the day you start to learn and see like how these things we was this is so funny. I was, Abigail's a elementary school teacher, and we were talking about something. Yeah, she teaches kindergarten. And I was like, why do we need to know shapes? Like, I just don't understand. Something was said and she was like, and that is why we need to know shapes. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. So thinking about, and I was also thinking about both of us struggling to conjugate a verb in both of these episodes. So this is why we need English. Like, the skills are needed and necessary, and it's not to say don't push your child, your children, your nieces, your nephews to do the things, but also it's kind of also redefining success. And it's like, okay, yes, go to college, and what if we don't go to college and we go to the trade, right? And being proud of that, because you and I think when you said not to be complacent, or something, yeah, not to be complacent, I was also thinking of just being proud, because I think of the layer of shame that's added when you're not when you didn't go to college and you just picked up a trade, or you just working a regular 9 to 5. You should be proud of that, right? Don't like let the shame of not being the one who went off to college make you feel even worse than the society that you're in makes you feel, right? So I do feel like we should continue to push our children to learn. And I say children, I mean the collective community, children to learn and grow and thrive. And yes, shoot for college, because I do think developmentally that is a good space for us to F up and figure out stuff, and let their 4 years, 4 to 8, whatever, let that 4 years be that space to do the things. And while you're also learning and developing your own, yes, we need to talk about college, because I'm also thinking about the voice message I sent you yesterday, thinking about, I think people think that college is literally just another step of high school, when college is literally like you're becoming a master in a discipline. It is hard, it is rigorous, and you come out knowing more things, right? Again, not to discredit people learning from experience or anything like that. But like you said, there is a reason why rich people send their children to school. Yeah, college would be another conversation.
No, it definitely will. It definitely, but I'm happy. No, you found, this is why I love this, is what's the nuance in the agendas, right? Because you found the nuance actually, and we will do a full conversation on it, but you're so right. The nuance in that is we shoot for the stars. And actually, what I wanted to say to that just briefly is that the sooner we're able to untether our identity from trying to cozy up to whiteness, whether we do it implicitly or explicitly, then the sooner we'll be able to just actually grapple with the concepts around, no, self-development is just good. But for so long, our self-development has been with the unintended, but intended goal of, if I could just reach that, like Sally and Ben, right? Because they've been our standard. They've been the world standard because they took everybody's stuff. And so saying that to say, the sooner, even me, I'm saying this in real time, I'm able to untether it from that, because there is a part of me that's like, right, I just want us to be free and not have to think about that. And it's like, yeah, okay, cool. Well, if we closed our eyes to that for a second and just made it about, what do you want for yourself and your babies? Right. To hit the star, like you said, to shoot for the moon and then land on a star. And what is true about humanity? What is true about our existence? Confidence comes from confrontation of conflict, or whatever. Like being able to fail, accomplish, strive, persevere, develop resilience. That is all what makes a healthy, fulfilled human being. Separate from whiteness, separate from respectability, that's what helps you to live a fulfilled, meaningful life. So succeeding and success in whatever capacity you serve in, that is what brings fulfillment. And so, yeah, we can make peace with that and be okay with that, while also saying, Sally ain't your competition. Sally ain't even, take her out your purview altogether, and anyone else for that matter. Take anybody else out of your purview at all. And be in competition with yourself. Be continuing to develop and level up yourself, because you enjoy self-development and progress. So yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah, I was also going to say off of what you just said, that if I could piggyback, that when you were thinking about the like restaurant scene of your life, yes, there's something. Basically, we know. So basically, we are trying to nestle up against whiteness because we know it's not the more we look black, the less fairly we be treated. So that's where the respectability politics comes from. You even breaking it down on that level of just the you'll be treated better by the waitress, right? Because that's how brand respectability politics is. Like everything, like is the more black you look, the less you, and I mean black in speech, black in dress, black in hair,
Everything.
all the darker skin, the blacker you are, like the less you will be treated fairly. So it's again a survival mechanism. Black people are kind of always in a state of survival. Even us being a respectability politics, we're trying to survive. So if we are able to close our eyes, you gave that analogy of closing our eyes and asking, what do we want, right? We might figure out that what we want is not, we might figure out what we want and that it's not related to whiteness. And I was just thinking about how many black people like have connections to the land and how we might find that agriculture is our thing. That doesn't necessarily look very respectable, right? You're
I
like,
love that.
if you even think about who's looked at as more smarter, not the person in the overalls making millions of dollars on the land, right? The person in the business suit, right? Making millions of dollars in the concrete jungle. So like thinking about like we might be more the things our soul is more inclined to do might be a little less like fancy and pretty and all the things. And like but we're so caught up in trying to survive that it's a struggle for us to figure out what it is that we as a people thoroughly enjoy. Like people love to move, dance. We don't, but dancing done been shamed so mad with twerking. Girl, going back to Sinners. Did you see when you go and watch this movie again, you look at the music scene, pay attention to I swear one of the ancestors was holding her hands up like a bottle girl. And I was like, that's what I'm talking about. Because like you were saying with Sexy Red, we cannot keep condemning our people for finding freedom in a way that just liberates them, even if it's just for a moment, right? Like this ain't nothing new. And if you see that scene, all you'll be able to see is that it's transcending generations. Like the music, the struggle, all the things, it's transcending generations. Okay, period. That's all. That's all.
You got me reflect. Like the more you talk, the more I think. So I don't have nothing else to add. Teach and actually that'll be my heart. So we can. I forgot who did it. So I'll bring it in. Because I'm so full. This is really good. This is a great episode. I think this is gonna be one of our best ones for real. It's so relevant socially, and we'll do this offline. Anyway, okay. Does this correlate into any book suggestions? Because I was thinking, and I've learned today that I don't think I have one. I was gonna try them, but I don't have one this week, honestly. So I'll let you have it.
I would definitely recommend Eloquent Rage by Brittany Cooper.
Did say that.
That is the book that really transformed how I think about my place in this world and my place in my family and these degrees and what they mean and all the things. So I really think that was only actually a chapter of the book, but it was the most revolutionary chapter for me. So I do recommend it. And she narrates it herself on Audible. So I was thinking about that. There was some more stuff in that book too that is like actually really good. But there's lots of stuff in that book that's really good. But that was like one of the things that I am constantly going back to is that concept of being the one that's chosen. So I highly recommend that being on our bookshelf. Yeah.
I love this guy. Seriously, we learned together. I have heard of that book before, and I've obviously seen exhaustively Brittany Cooper's stuff. Every time I would see her, I'm like, oh, I gotta read it. So I know exactly what you're talking about. I feel like I might have bought it at one point. I don't know where the book is, but either way, I haven't read it yet. So I'm going to read that as soon as I'm out of school. For real, that'll be one of my summer reads because this conversation was like equally cathartic as it was fun and entertaining for me. And I'm just sitting here processing so much. So I'm going to read it because I'm going to read it specifically. Sister Citizens did this, the one by Melissa Harris Perry. It did this for me a little bit, what you just said, but I need something even more specific to like why it is okay to be like eloquently enraged and you don't have to try and bend or Anyway, that's good. I'm gonna read that too. Thank you.
Welcome. So we're moving to our next segment of What's the Girl Saying? Fun. You got anything?
I do have something. It's not much, but I was talking to my sister today on the phone. We were talking about zodiac signs and like rising signs, and we were trying to make like a scriptural argument for it because I was reading all of my siblings this morning. I promise this is going to apply in a second. And I was like, man, this is really accurate. It scares me. Should I be? So I went deep diving into scripture to make sure. Anyway, but saying that to say, while we were talking, I was just like, oh man, we talked about that on the podcast. And I was like, I know you don't watch it. And she was like, what are you talking about? I literally watch it every Monday. It drops at 9, right? And I was like,
That's a
what? No, that's what I know. And I was like, oh, okay. And she started to articulate back the point that I was about to make from something that we've said on the podcast. So, and this was my little sister. This is not even the other one I told you about was my older sister, but this is my little one. So that was pretty cool. So that was all. She was able to articulate. So the fun, because this is equally fun for us. When somebody's able to articulate an argument, you can't imagine. We love the girls being articulate or at least being able to articulate whatever position or whatever position she came to as a result of our conversations. So that was pretty good for me.
Yeah, so I got two things. So I had an event this weekend, and one of the guys who listens to our podcast was telling me just like, again, like we sound so like I told him like we're still finding our chemistry. He's like, it doesn't sound like that. Like I think y'all hit it now.
Say that,
And
yeah.
I was like, yeah, it really just feels like us being on the phone because this is literally all we talk about. Like we are nerds, and literally, if we wouldn't have had the car, that's why like most of the time we're talking, I'm like, okay, let's stay there for the podcast.
That's true. That's true.
So that was him saying he wasn't a girl, but
No, I appreciate it all the more. Low key, that's who I want for real.
right.
But yeah. Mm-hmm.
But when I was at home this weekend, my sister was saying, come here, Frederica. And my daddy was like, what you call her? And she told me that she called her Frederica in front of my daddy. And he was like, what is that? Like, and he's like, that's what she nicknamed the baby. And I was like, it didn't correlate to my head that's because she's listening to the podcast. Like I knew she was listening to podcasts, but like she's listening to the podcast.
Got to. That would be the only, got to.
Yeah.
I love that. But that, you know what's funny? Because that is one of the things that I'm most excited about too, which is for us to be like, I want people to only be able to reference stuff that we talk about on here. You know what I mean? Like those super nuanced things. It's like, girl, did I say that? I said that. Oh,
I forgot what I said.
yeah. So no, that makes me even happier, honestly. That's good. We got What's the Girl Saying? We did our book suggestion, Heart, right? What is the heart? What is on the heart, from the heart? I'm gonna get it one day.
Yeah. That's all good. That's pretty much it.
Why does this matter?
So this matters to me because being a Black girl and being successful and being around other Black girls who are successful, again, quote unquote, successful girls, and what's successful, how we define success is that I can't imagine out of the whole group of Black women who are the most educated Black women being the demographic that is the most educated, that we are the only two that are the most successful, right? I mean, not most successful, that we are the only ones grappling with what it is like to be the chosen ones in our families, to be the ones who made it, the ones who have family that might be quote unquote ghetto, quote unquote extra Black, right? And what it feels like to go back into those spaces and then retreat back to our apartments and keep going, right? And only have to deal with them on the holidays, right? So like, I'm not saying that's what I do anymore, y'all, but I'm thinking about the fact that we thinking about the fact this conversation matters to me because I know we're not the only ones, and because like there are so many Black women who might be in the same mindset and feel isolated from their quote unquote ghetto family or their past friends who they love, who are ghetto, right? And are scared to love them out loud. So thinking about how isolated they might feel, like, and we can speak to like just being around and stuck up all day long, like how tiring that is. Like, don't nobody want to be stuffy all day long, like, and not feeling like you can be your authentic self. Like, that is draining and it is exhausting. And it's like, I want to twerk and I want to have fun and I want to, and all these things, like, and then don't bring up the conversation and we like bringing it into like Christianity and I don't drink and I don't go bowling and all the things, and also it's respectability politics. Okay, so thinking about that, and I just want to free the girls, like, go have fun with your friends, go have, like, you will still be able to finish your degree, you'll still be able to get your job, right? Put your makeup on, put your lifestyle on. This conversation going on right now about social on TikTok about one of these nurse practitioners saying ghetto Black. I don't want the ghetto Black girl with the lashes and the full beat. Like, as a nurse practitioner, I'm trying to protect my profession or whatever. That's respectability politics. But anywho, put your lashes on and do the thing, girl. She wasn't Black. She was saying ghetto. But I wasn't talking about Black women. Okay. So you will still be successful if you hang out with your ghetto friends and your ghetto family. And you'll probably even be more successful and feel more included in family and community if you are not shaming them constantly and shaming parts of yourself who actually love the things that are like extra, quote unquote, black. Yeah, that's why it's important to me.
First of all, two things. I said, get the shackles off my feet. That's what I thought about when you said, who want to be stuck all day long? Like, I just literally envisioned, maybe that was prophetic. Come on, somebody. I envisioned shackles falling off of the girls listening to this.
Come on.
Low key, yeah, right? Because actually, I'm saying that, but low key, that just touched my belly. So, Lord, let it be so in Jesus' name. But in addition to that, though, I want to actually give something practical. It matters because it matters. So, practically, what I want you guys to take away from this today, if nothing else, couple of things. The biggest thing that has helped me through this, and I'm talking about within the last year, this is actively something I just was talking to my therapist about in the last several months, and I will say I'm in a better space with it, so I can say this personally, professionally, as something that's effective. To the girl, firstly, to the girl who's like, it's easier to not be around them, it's easier to not engage. I was almost there. I wasn't because I love my family, but I can see how the mentality can grow from there. I'm not saying go back into toxic situations that are harmful, literally harmful to you. I'm not saying that. However, what I am saying is push past it if you can, sis. And let me tell you why. Because the sooner you go in there without judgment and expectation, but rather appreciation for what is, woo. Yeah, again, this is something I'm walking through personally, honey. Stop going in there like, what's wrong with this? Frustration. Take off that stuff and just put on sister. Just put on daughter. Just put on cousin. And just be a cousin. You're not God. You're not, please listen to, actually, I didn't have a book suggestion, but listen to Not God or I'm Not God. I want to save you, but I'm not God. That's not the name, but that's the Toby song. Please, all you guys, please listen to that song. Because the sooner you be like, let me just go kick it with my cousin. They probably ain't gonna stop drinking. They probably ain't gonna stop smoking.
Drink with them.
But guess what though? These the people you did Easter with, and your mamas washed y'all up in the same bath. Like share stories, engage. If they want to go to Applebee's and you're like, why the hell we don't eat Applebee's? Go to Applebee's and get a chicken tender plate and just enjoy.
Get that treat though.
Get the treat.
Eat the $5 margaritas.
Rather than that little $50 you spend on all that stupid stuff because your other friends trying to be bougie and impress each other. Like she said, release yourself. So that's the first one. Just go if it's safe for you, and I mean that. I live in the ghetto. But clearly, just go and enjoy and hearken back to the times that made you the most comfortable and happy with them, because those are still those same people. That's the first one. And then finally, actually, I'll just echo what you said. Your identity is not steeped in any successes. It's not steeped in any ways that you've polished or reformed yourself in any way. Is it beautiful? Heck yeah. Did it benefit you? Heck yeah. Does it equally benefit the people around you? Heck yeah. But that's not you. It's an addition to you. So I don't care how much money you give back. I don't care how much you're contributing. You're still an active part of the family. Maybe yours became a little bit more weighty. For sure, your position in the family, but you're still a part of a family, baby girl, and you need just as much as they need. Maybe the needs are different, but you're still a person who needs love, care, community, and so maybe your needs look different from theirs, for sure. But they have value just as much as you have value, and so engage with them and all people at the place of value, rather than at the place of inherent value. Intrinsic value, rather than the place where the society has told us that our value lies. So there it is.
Okay, so I'm gonna say this and we can wrap it up. I mean, you can say something else too, but the basically I heard like in both of these, I guess it's just like, don't lose your soul. Like, you need your people is your soul. Like, I don't know if I articulated well enough. Like,
it's beautiful though.
Being around like stuffy people, stuffy Black people specifically, you might feel empty because you are not connected to your people or your foundation anymore. Like, you might feel stuffy because you have tried to strip yourself. You might feel isolated and empty because you've tried to strip yourself away from your Blackness so much that you know what I'm saying? Like, they are who they are, and they're probably reflecting back what you really, really want. And it's like, stop living in isolation and just love yourself and love your people.
Yep, that's it. I think that's good.
This was a freeing episode.
No, literally, do you feel lighter? I feel, like I said, it was cathartic, and I think we both needed to be reaffirmed in all of this. So as we are talking through this with y'all, we are actively moving through this ourselves. Matter of fact, this literally came from you being home over the weekends. Yeah, we're actively moving through this together, and this is beautiful.
Yeah.
Love you guys. Thank you for connecting with us and journeying through all of this with us. We might have to do a part 2 because we didn't even get to the money part, but I think we covered it though. So